Hi guys, welcome back to the Makeup Hunter. I'm Laura. In today's video I'm just going to do a really relaxed get ready with me. There will have been a video previous to this one, but this is actually the first video I'm filming after a little bit of a break, so I just want to ease myself back into filming. So I'm going to do a get ready with me, have a bit of a chat. I've got a couple of new exciting makeup products to talk about, and I'm just going to put some makeup on my face. So if you'd like to see me try out some new makeup products and hear about what's been happening in my life, then please keep watching. Also, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. It means the absolute world to me. I'm 2 subscribers, I think, at the moment away from 100 subscribers, which is a bit of a milestone for me. So if you could subscribe to my channel, I would love you forever. Also, if you like this kind of content, if you like me, if you want to see more from me, then give me a like, leave me a comment, and let's get started. Okay, so I have here with me, I will have already uploaded a video talking about how I'm going to be doing my Shop My Stash for a little bit of time, like for a short while, and the makeup products that I've got here in this bag. So I'm going to be using items from that, and I've also got a few new items to share with you. So firstly, I purchased the Sigma Ambience palette. This was completely influenced by Samantha March, who, since, if you don't watch Samantha March, she's a writer, self-published author. She is a beauty blogger and vlogger, and she has recently moved from Iowa to Las Vegas. And since she moved to Las Vegas, I've absolutely been loving watching her videos, because she's gone through a tough time and she's living her best life now, and she's seems to be really thriving and has really found herself, and I find it really inspiring to watch. And also, she's got very similar taste in makeup at the moment since she moved to Vegas as I have. So I've been quite heavily influenced by a lot of the things that she's been loving, and this palette was one of them. So this is the Sigma Ambience palette. Like I say, it's actually inspired by the sun, and it's all these beautiful warm, very yellow toned browns and golds. And it says on the back, I'm just going to read you the bit about it because I think this sort of really does sum up the palette well. Get the ultimate golden hour glow with this landscape of warm matte shimmer and metallic shades. Inspired by the sun's peaceful, ever-changing light, Ambience sets the mood for any occasion. With neutral to bold hues and a beautiful dual-ended brush, this brilliant eyeshadow palette will help you look radiant from sunrise to sunset. And I think that sums it up perfectly. When I look at this palette, I really do think of summer. This is like my summer glam in palette form. It's just, I said in a recent video, I'd been doing a lot of colourful looks, trying to push myself outside of my comfort zone and play with colour more, but this is where my heart really lies, in like warm toned neutrals and smoky eyes. So when I saw her using this palette and talking about it so much, I was like, oh, I've got to get that. It was sold out on Beauty Bay for ages, and it came back into stock a couple of days ago, and as soon as I saw it, I'd got a £10 discount as well off Beauty Bay, so I was like, yeah, that's going to be mine. So that's the first item I've got to show you. I'm not going to be using this palette today. There is another eyeshadow palette that I've got that I am desperate to use, so it was a real struggle choosing between the two, but the other one won. The next item I've got is another influencer influenced purchase. This is the Giorgio Armani Eye Tint Silk. It's a liquid satin eye colour, and it's in the shade number 10, which is Senso. So this is a liquid eyeshadow, and this was inspired by Alana Davidson and Anna from the Anna Edit. Both talked about this shadow on their channel, and it seemed right up my street. It's a perfect like one and done shadow, which is something that I'm really getting into at the moment. So I picked that up if you're in the UK, I got mine from Next, on Next Direct. And then I also picked up, these were from Cult Beauty, 2 of the Hourglass Scattered Light shadows. So I got the shades Smoke and Reflect. I was trying to choose between the two, and they are quite different. They look similar in the pot, but swatched they're very different. One's very neutral, leaning warm, the other one's very cool. So Reflect is the neutral, leaning warm tone. This is like a shimmery sort of pale gold taupe, and these are just a sort of a cream shadow, which is basically a glitter pigment. I haven't even touched these yet, but that's the shade Reflect. I think I'm probably going to use one of these today. So that one was Reflect, and then Smoke is the cool toned version, and this is Smoke, which is like a smoky taupe shade. And I've got a funny feeling I will probably use Smoke tonight. I haven't decided yet, but I think that's what I'm going to go for. And I got both of those to go with the next eyeshadow palette I'm going to show you. Now, I have been wanting this eyeshadow palette for 2 years, and it's an expensive palette, and it was one that I kept talking myself out of, but this is going to sound so silly, but it's that product, that item that I just can't stop thinking about. And I think if you've thought about something for 2 years and you still want it, even after everything else that's been released and everything else that you've bought, then you really do want it. So this is the Natasha Denona Biba Palette, and this is her all neutral palette. And this palette is just, oh, I can't explain to you how much I love this palette. Now, mine looks a little bit dirty. It is brand new. I've only received this today. Try to show you without blinding you. This is one of her large palettes, and it has the formula of hers that I really love, which is the cream to powder formula. Mine looks a little bit dirty because this shade here, Tor, had got some like pigment dust sort of around it, and I tried to brush it off, and it's stained the white background, but other than that, it's perfect. It's brand new from Cult Beauty today. It's just obviously during transit a little bit of dust had come off it. So this is the palette that I think I'm going to use today. I've already got a look in mind, so that is finally mine. I finally have all of the Natasha Denona palettes that I want, so I'm happy. Okay, so I've already done all of my skincare, and I'm going to go in first of all with MAC strobe cream. I'm going to have to take this off. Okay, so let's get some of this on. This is the Pink Light strobe cream, so it has got sort of a pink shift. Used a decent sort of sized blob and just apply that to my skin. And then I'm going to go into my foundation. The foundation that I'm going to be using is MAC Studio Fix Fluid, and I'm also going to use a tiny bit of this sample of Dior Forever Skin Glow that I've got. I used this a couple of times recently and really loved it, and it's quite a decent size sample, so I'm just trying to get through it. So I'm going to mix these two together. So while my primer is sort of soaking in, I said at the beginning of the video that I did take an unplanned hiatus from YouTube, so I haven't filmed anything for 3 weeks, and the reason for that is I went away. I had a mini break, and I also have been struggling a little bit with my condition. I've had my second menopause injection, and it takes about 3 weeks to kick in, and for the first, this is sort of how I've sort of figured it out from the last, you know, from having it previously. It takes me about 3 weeks before it kicks in, and for those 3 weeks it's quite hellish, really. I'm coming to the end of the 3rd week now since I had that injection, and this is just the Laneige lip glowy balm in peach. I absolutely love this lip balm. I want more flavours. Yeah, so I'm coming towards the end of it. I've spent pretty much a week solid since coming back from being away in bed. Luckily I was pretty alright while I was away. The last night I really struggled with pain, but I managed to do the things I wanted to. I struggled a little bit with walking. I couldn't walk as much as I had hoped to. My hips and stomach and back were really, you know, I was struggling with that, but I didn't let it, well, it didn't sort of affect me much while we were away. But as soon as we returned home, it was like all bets were off. You're suffering now. So I've been in bed pretty much for a week. I've had to have more morphine than I would like to have, which has a knock-on effect, and it's just been pretty miserable. I've been pretty miserable. I haven't worn makeup since I come back from my trip, which is probably the longest I've gone for a while without wearing makeup. It's over a week now. We're sort of, I think 10 days since I came back. About 10 days since we came back. So that is pretty much where I've been. I've not been out. I've not been out since I came back. I've not been outside. it's just been a bit shit. So hopefully I'm on the up now, I'm on the upturn, because I managed to get up this morning. I had to have a nap this afternoon, but I've not had to take any morphine, touch wood, today, and I'm feeling good, I'm feeling positive, I'm feeling happy. So we sort of, fingers crossed, we're going in the right direction. So let's get some of this foundation on my face. So I'm using a little dibble dabble of that, and I don't know how much of this has been in my project pan, so I don't know how much I've actually got. So I've took about that much in total, which it looks more than it actually is. And the reason I like that Dior Forever Skin Glow, if I didn't have so many foundations, and I've actually got another one on its way to me, I probably would have bought the full size of that foundation. It's a really thin formula, and it leaves, as you would imagine by the name, it leaves a nice glow to the skin. This beauty blender is tiny, it's one of the ones for under your eyes, but I am losing everything since I come back. I've lost my hairbrush that I always use, my wet brush, and I've lost my Real Techniques sponge. I had to throw 2 other sponges away because they were falling apart, but I had a brand new Real Techniques sponge which I started using when I was away, and I can't find it. So this is ridiculous that I'm having to use this little one. I don't want to buy any more because I know I've had it in this house somewhere. It can't have gone far, so I'm just making do with this one for tonight, and then I'm going to turn my bedroom upside down and try and find my hairbrush and my sponge. So mixing those 2 foundations together and only using a small amount, it gives a lovely light coverage to my skin. It just gets rid of any sort of redness, but it just evens out my skin tone and gives me a nice little light coverage and a little bit of glow. I am going to use a little bit more of the MAC Studio Fix Fluid just on the areas where I want a bit more coverage, which is sort of in the centre of my face. Okay, so I'm going to bring you closer so you can see my skin. You can see where I've got some allergy sort of marks on my forehead, but it's sort of taken down the redness everywhere out, evened it out like I said, and I just love the glow. Obviously I've got the MAC Strobe cream underneath, which is going to help the glow, but MAC Studio Fix Fluid is my favourite foundation for a reason. Obviously I have used this mixed with another, but that's why I love this foundation, because I can mix it with pretty much anything. I can wear it on its own, applied quite thickly, for a real good full coverage, not going anywhere sort of finish. I can mix it, or I can use it on its own sparingly and get more of a sheer light coverage. I also like mixing the MAC Strobe cream in with this for a much lighter, more sort of natural finish. So I absolutely love this foundation. I think it's amazing. So I'm actually going to use a little bit of my Becca Pistachio. I usually would put this underneath, but I've only just sort of noticed that redness on my forehead. And I'm going to see if I can tone it down a little bit. And then just use the sponge to mix it in with the foundation. I'm going to put on my Becca Under Eye Brightener. Ooh. So I mentioned that I went away for a few days. I actually stayed in a caravan for a few days in South Wales. It was very last minute decision. My parents are talking about potentially buying a motorhome, or my dad would like a narrow boat. So we've been sort of looking into things like that, and we looked into, my mum has talked to me of the narrow boat because she really isn't keen, and we were looking into the motorhomes, but we think we're now possibly going to be looking into purchasing a static caravan instead. And that's what we sort of like, we wanted to stay in one, see how we got on, and if that's sort of the route that they want to go down. So that's something we're sort of looking into as a family at the moment. So I booked it like literally a week before we went, and we just had three nights in South Wales. We took the dog with us, and we just had a nice little short family break. We haven't been away as a family for 2 years, so it was nice to just have a bit of family time. My dad's now retired, my mum's semi-retired, so it was nice just to get a little change of scenery after the year that everybody has had. And where we stayed was by the sea. It was lovely. We had some really nice beach days, went on some little walks, went for lunch by this ocean. It was really great. And we're off again very soon, staying in a caravan again, to, you know, just keep trying it and see if it's something that we want to do, well, that Mum and Dad want to do. We're going away one last time before the kids break up, because obviously once the kids break up, everything gets so much more expensive everywhere, and everywhere gets booked up. So we're just going before the kids break up for the summer holidays, and then we'll probably go for a bit longer when the kids go back to school in September. So it's a last little hurrah before the kids are unleashed upon the world. But I'm really excited. It was so chilled, and I felt so happy while I was away. It was like I'd left everything here, which sounds really strange, but I felt like I could just completely be myself while I was away. I didn't care about what I looked like. I felt good in myself. I had very minimal problems with my condition. Obviously I'm paying for it now, but it was just a really lovely break, and I was hoping to sort of carry that feeling that I had while I was away back when I got home, but obviously the old womb had second thoughts, but hopefully, like I said, it's off on its way out now, and I'll be able to feel that way again. I am determined to feel that way again, and not just while I'm away. So I've just used my Revolution concealers. I set using the under my eyes and sort of around the centre of my face with MAC Prep and Prime transparent finishing powder, and then I also just dusted a little bit of MAC Mineralised Skin Finish over the rest of my face. I'm just going to set, actually no I'm not, I'm going to bronze first, and I'm going to be using my Sharon Osbourne and MAC bronzer. I'm not using cream today, just because of how my skin is looking in places, and I absolutely love this bronzer. Okay, so just to save a little bit of time, I've just been away and applied my eye primer, just my MAC Paint Pot in Lane Low, and I've also just run some Glossier Boy Brow in black through my brows. So let's move on to the fun part. Let's move on to eyeshadow, and obviously I'm going to be using the ever so stunning Natasha Denona Biba Palette, and I want to do something quite simple but a bit smoky and sort of sultry looking, and I think I'm pretty much going to use this shade here, Tusk, this shade Tour. I'm possibly going to use a little bit of the black in the shade Spot, and then I think I'm going to, instead of using one of the 3 metallics out of this palette, I think I'm going to use one of the Hourglass Scattered Light shadows. So let us get cracking. So I'm first of all going to go in with that sort of bone shade, Tusk, first of all, and I'm hoping that's going to be a deep enough shade for my transition. So I'm using this like fluffy shader brush. This is just from NYX, and let's go in. I haven't even swatched this palette, I'm just going straight into it. So this is just one of her traditional powders. Oh yeah, that's definitely rich enough for a transition shade. And I'm just running that quite messily through my crease. So I hope everybody is doing well. I really didn't intend to be away for 3 weeks, and it's really took me quite a bit to film again. I'm sure nobody's even really noticed I've not been here, but I have missed the process of sitting and filming. I do really enjoy it. It gives me something to do, gives me, you know, occupies me for quite a while. So, and I've had lots of new makeup and exciting purchases that I was hoping to film. I've had quite a few new clothes, which I was hoping to film a haul and a lookbook, but I've had them for such a long time now, I feel like it's not relevant anymore. I've had them sitting on like the front of my wardrobe for about a month, 6 weeks, so I don't know if it's even worth filming that now, but we'll see. Filming fashion stuff is definitely something I want to do more of, but it takes a hell of a lot more to film that than it does sitting and putting makeup on, so I have to be like tip top to be able to do that. So I'm really pleased with that first shade, with the colour. I've just sort of washed it across my lid as well, and now I'm going to go in with a smaller, more precise brush with the shade Tour. I think I'm going to use this one from Colourpop. This is the E1. It's just sort of a flat but still slightly fluffy blending brush, and this is one of the cream to powder formula, so I'm excited to use this, and I'm going to stamp that on the outer corner and along the lash line. Oh yes, love it, love that colour. I'm just going to blend that slightly into my crease, and I do want to wing this out slightly, so just adding a little bit more. I absolutely love this formula, this cream to powder formula. It's so user friendly. I'm just going in with my original brush just to help me smoke that out. And I'm just going to keep going in and adding a little bit more and building it up. So another new development is I have today rejoined Tinder. I'm not really interested, if I'm honest. I've been single since December the 30th, and I've been on and off Tinder since then, but I can't be bothered. I don't think I'm interested. I go on and then I delete it because I just can't be bothered. I've never really been on my own for very long. I've always sort of met somebody quite soon after my relationships have ended. I've only been in like 2 major relationships. Sorry, 3 major relationships. And I've sort of gone from one to the other. That was never really planned, it just kind of happened. And now I've been on my own for a little while, and I've it's the first time where I've not really been interested in a relationship. I think because of everything that's gone on with my health, the relationships I've had not being what I'd hoped. I think I'm a little bit gun shy, and it's been quite refreshing not sort of being responsible for anybody else but myself, and not having to show up for anybody else but myself. And as selfish as that may sound, it's the first time I've ever really done that, and I've sort of been not enjoying it but not really thinking about changing it. And I have rejoined Tinder today because I think perhaps not being bothered is a good thing, and is probably a good time to join. If that sounds, that's real like fuzzy logic, but like when you're desperate for a relationship and you're on a dating site, it's awful, and you can make mistakes. You can end up going for the wrong people, fall into something too fast, and I think going on when you sort of meh is probably a good thing. And I'm in a point in my life where a guy has got to complement my life and has got to make my life better, so I know what I want more and what I won't settle for. And I've never really been like that before. I've always been a bit too amenable, and I'm hoping to sort of start that. It'd be nice to start dating again now that the world's opening up a little bit, but I'm not in any hurry either, which is, it's really nice to feel that way and to sort of be in this position, which I've not been in before. So I have rejoined today. Like I said, I had a little bit of a look this morning, and then I've not touched it since, and I think that's probably what I will do. I'll sort of go on occasionally, and if I match with somebody and I have a visitor and a conversation starts, great, but I'm not pushing anything, and I'm not sort of settling for what isn't what I want, if that makes sense. So I don't really know why I've said that, but I thought I'd just share that little update with you. I don't imagine I'll be sharing news that, excuse you, that I've met the love of my life anytime soon, but I thought I'd just share that update and musings that I've been having, my relationship musings. It would be nice to meet my last boyfriend. I mean, I'm 36, I'm not getting any younger, but I also am at that age where I'm not wasting time anymore with somebody or in a relationship that isn't right. It's gotta be right now. I would love to get married one day. I would love to have children. Well, a child, if Mother Nature would be so kind as to allow that, even though I know that may never happen for me. Especially now at my age. But I would love to have a child one day, to get married, settle down, have the whole 9 yards. But I'm also not desperate for it either. I'm not going to force something to be something it's not, which is a mistake that I've made before. And maturity has sort of changed me in that respect, which is a good thing. So that is sort of where the eyes are at the moment. I'm going to put a little bit of one of the Hourglass shadows on, I think, and then I think I'm going to go in with the black, just very close to the lash line. But that taupe shade is quite nice and smoky on its own. I did get a little bit of fallout, which is nothing major, but I notice I'm just a little bit dark round here, which I'll clean up when I've finished. I am going to be going in with the black, so I don't want to sort of mess and clean up now when it could get a hell of a lot worse. So I think I'm going to go in with the shade Smoke, or no, actually I'm going to go in with Reflect, because this is more warm than I expected. With that shade Tusk, it's added a lot of warmth. Okay, so this is the shade Reflect. And I'm just going to go in. Ooh. It feels like a Colourpop Super Shock shadow. It's that lovely like bouncy texture. It's very soft, and I'm just going to apply that to my lid. I've been wanting one of these shadows for so long. Oh wow, that is stunning. And I'm just taking it, you've probably seen before that I like to take my shimmers over the rest of my eyelid, but I'm keeping away from this outer corner. So you can probably build this up to be a lot more opaque. I quite like that little just smattering of shimmer. I'm pressing it into the inner corner as well. That's so pretty. Hope you can see that. Gorgeous. And I'm making sure to replace the little stopper just in case they dry out like Super Shock shadows. Okay, and now I'm going to go in with a little bit of that black shade Spot just along the lash line. And again, this is one of the cream shadows, and I'm just going to press that. Oh, that is a nice black. Just along the lash line. Not going all the way in, I'm going about 2/3 of the way. Just to add a little bit of depth to that lash line. Do the same on the other side. You only need a tiny bit of this black. It's so pigmented, and being that cream formula, it's really opaque and it smudges really easily. There we go. And I think I'm going to take a tiny bit of that along the lower lash line as well, just pushed up against the lash line. Yeah, see the difference? It just adds so much more impact. There we go. And I didn't get any fallout with the shade spot. I think the fallout that I've got has come from the shade Tall. Okay, so I've put some black eyeliner in my waterline. I've just used MAC Feline. I curled my lashes and I put some L'Oreal Telescopic on my upper lashes and MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash on my bottom lashes, not derriere. And I've just put some of the YSL Full Metal Liquid Shadow on my inner corners and brow bone. I cleaned up the fallout. It wasn't any big deal. I just went over with the concealer and then just topped it with my bronzer to help everything blend in. I'll bring you in a little bit closer just so you can see my eyes now they're done. I am obsessed, absolutely obsessed. I think this is probably one of the favourite looks I've done for a long time. I think I've got an eyelash in this eye, so it might look a bit funny, but let's just ignore that. So now let's, ooh, wrong way. Let's finish the rest of my face. So highlighter, I think I'm just going to use the out of my MAC and Sharon Osbourne bronzer, this strip, which I think is Soft and Gentle. So I'm just going to use a little of that. Oh, where's my highlighter brush? There we go. So I'm just going to use a weeny bit of that. I've already got some of it on because I just swirl the bronzer and highlighter together when I bronze. Just add a bit more of a concentrated pop. Okay. And for blusher, I'm going to use my Beauty Pie Fresh Faced Cream Blush. This is just the lovely peachy colour. There we go. And for lips, I think I'm just gonna go for a nude to complement the eyes. So the nude combo that I've got in my, well, one of the nude combos that I've got in my stash, my capsule makeup bag, is, I think for this look I'm going to use Huda Beauty lip contour in the shade Venus, which is like a peachy nude, MAC Hue, which is again a lovely peachy nude, and then I'm going to top it with the Colourpop Luxe Gloss in the shade Slow Motion. So I'll put this lip on and I'll come back for the final look. Okay guys, so that is the final look using my capsule makeup collection and some new products. I'll bring you in just a little bit closer so you can see everything. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. I love everything that I've used, and I knew I would be obsessed with the Biba palette, and I definitely am. So thanks very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe before you leave. Keep loving yourself, keep loving each other. I love you, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks guys, bye.